Welcome to the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast. Let's start the show. Here are your hosts, Wes Ford and Zach Harris.
I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. In this episode, we'll be discussing what we've been watching, followed by a review of 2021's Mortal Kombat, available now on HBO Max. Tonight, we're drinking 2 separate beers. Zach, what you got?
All right, I got the Illuminated Brewworks Orange Sunshine, which is a saison with lemon and orange zest. I was telling you about it earlier. The can caught my eye. I'm liking the type. Never
It's
had
cool.
it.
It's like
Figured,
a real.
Why not?
It's like a retro looking can.
Totally, absolutely.
It's
It's very like stoner basement velvet poster.
Totally.
Vibes, you know. And
Yeah.
Their other cans looked really good too. This just sounded like the tastiest out of them, but maybe some of the labels were better on the other ones. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, I am drinking New Belgium's The Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. Got this thing here.
Got a big tall boy, huh?
Got a tall boy, exactly. 9%.
Oh shit, Wes is getting down.
But I got one, so.
Oh, okay. You're pacing yourself.
Yeah, So instead of two of a less strong one, got a tall big boy.
Exactly.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. It's I don't know. I'm not super well versed, but it's a lot drier than I was expecting, which I'm into. I actually quite like with the citrus. It's nice. Very refreshing, drinkable.
Nice.
Drinkable.
Seems like a real good summer brew.
Definitely. I was telling you, it's it's 80 degrees here today.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal for Chicago. So
yeah, it's been
I'm
snowing for so long.
Yeah, it's just fucking brutal out and just cold. So I'm ready.
Nice.
Fucking ready.
This one's pretty good. I've had it before, but it's for an IPA and it's an imperial, so obviously stronger, but real smooth. It's nice. It's nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right. Well, before we discuss what we've been watching, Ronnie?
This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now back to you, Wes.
If you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and most major podcast platforms. All right, let's get into it. Zach, why don't you kick it off? What have you been watching?
Well, I guess one thing I watched recently the other day is I watched, the Lupin III Castle of Caligostro, I think it is. Caligostro, yeah. Which is the first Miyazaki feature.
Nice.
Which I had never seen before. I hadn't seen any, because Lupin III is a series, but I haven't seen any of the other ones either. But I really liked it. It was great. It came out on UHD, so I just blind bought that bad boy.
Oh, wow.
A little while
UHD.
ago, actually. And honestly, fucking incredible UHD.
Look good?
I was just really curious what an animated movie was going to be like. You know what I mean? 2D anime. And holy shit, it's just it's just pristine. It just is absolutely pristine.
Amazing.
It looks like you filled in, you drew it and filled it in on a drawing on an iPad. It's very crisp and there's no grain or it's crazy. I was pretty impressed by that. But also the movie itself was very fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just kind of him storming this castle that's making all this counterfeit money, but it's kind of it's all these weird sort of like guard people, and it's very almost like fantasy-ish at the same time that it's modern. So I kind of liked the like vibe there, and the animation was great, and yeah, just some like some fun like action stuff in it too.
Nice. Speaking of him, I rewatched Princess Mononoke recently.
Nice. That's a classic.
Looks great. Yeah, classic. But I'll talk about a different movie. Show. I finished The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. It was pretty good. Yeah, Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son.
Yeah, he's Cap now, right?
Yeah, and
they just fuck Anthony Mackie. They're just like, you're not Captain America anymore. Fuck you. Or is that kind of what it's about?
That's sort of what it's about. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. And I don't want to spoil anything, but you can kind of predict what's going to happen. But no, it's pretty good. I mean, it's crazy that these Marvel shows, they have the budget of extended feature films. It's crazy. I'm a big fan of the Marvel stuff. And I'm this far deep. I've watched them all, so I'm going to keep watching their stuff.
Yeah, totally.
I got to keep up with it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I think I liked it a bit more than WandaVision, although I enjoyed that too. Next is Loki. It comes out, I think, in June. That's the next show. But if you like any of the Cap stuff, like that variety of like political thriller, kind of spy stuff, check out the show. It's pretty good. Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it had some relevant issues in it as well. So it's not just like all silly, Like I appreciated that they tried to pull meaning into it and have a purpose, and it talks about some important things, and so I appreciated that. But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier, check it out.
Cool. I watched Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk movie.
The new one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty fun. I liked it. Like, I thought it was just... Like, I like the John Wick movies, for sure. It's kind of hard to not compare it to it. It's very similar, like, narratively and in its, like, action stuff. Like, I like those movies, for sure. They're fun. Yeah. But I do think that this kind of, like, struck a nice chord where... I mean, Bob Odenkirk is just, like, very likable, and I like to watch him. But I do think he's funny, and while it wasn't like I was, like, rolling on the ground laughing this whole movie, I think the humor kind of, like, balanced out that sort of, like, real insane violence well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was, like... There's, like, 3 kind of, like, major set pieces in it, and I thought all 3 of them were good. And the action is just... It was, like, creative in a way and just fun to watch. I feel like a lot of stuff, and I guess we'll get into it a little later talking about Hollywood blockbuster action. But I just feel like in a lot of, like, newer action movies, I just get kind of bored. You know what I mean? Like, the action can be kind of boring.
Yeah.
But I think mainly because of the use of environments, this is really successful. And they're each kind of in, like, unique environments that they really play on a lot. Like, watching it with, like, a group of people, really fun. Like, lots of, like, big moments and, like, ooh, aye! Like, some, like, arms breaking and shit like that. And yeah, it wasn't, like, incredible, but it was a well-done action movie that just, like, was well-paced. Also.
Nice.
It's, like, quick 90-minute watch, like... pretty fun the entire time, kind of like gets right to it. Yeah, I thought it was good.
That's good to hear. It makes me want to watch it. I guess it's better hearing what you're saying. It sounds almost better than I expected. So
it was definitely better than I thought it was going to be, for sure. And I guess also I heard, I don't know a ton about this, but I heard that he like kind of like created the movie for himself.
Bob
like,
Odenkirk?
Like he came up with it and it's like,
oh, that's amazing.
I want to be in a John Wick, and then like got.
So
this
maybe
movie
that's
made,
why.
like, Yeah,
maybe that's why the casting is interesting with him.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, because I guess he just like wanted to do different stuff, and it's like, oh, that's great, you did a good job. You know what I mean? Like he's good in the movie. I thought he was good.
I gotta check it out.
It kind of made it charming and like me like it even more because like he is like an older. I mean, he's not like old and not like Bob Odenkirk old man, but like he's an older dude.
He's an older guy, yeah.
And like seeing him like do this action and like hand to hand combat stuff, it's like really impressive. Did a really good job. Like, yeah,
it's a lot of training. It's a lot of training for shit like that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think if you're gonna like watch it with people and split it because it's the $20 rental. I would say it's probably worth. You can wait till it gets a little cheaper, but if you got like a group you could watch it with or like split, you know, then like that might make it worth it. But
cool, man. Yeah, I'll look out for that. Gotta check it out then. Sounds good.
Worth a watch.
Cool. Where'd you watch it? Just rented it?
Prime, yeah.
Prime. Cool. All right. I really don't have much to talk about, honestly. I haven't really been watching that much stuff. I did some rewatches.
I watched a shitload of stuff.
Yeah? You'll probably take over most of this part.
Well, I know we both, or did you have one that you're going to bring up?
I'll just bring up that I watched My Cousin Vinny for the first time.
Oh, nice. I actually watched that for the first time not long ago. Like
really?
Months ago. Yeah. It's a great movie.
It's great. Yeah. I guess I thought I'd seen it and ended up watching it. I was at my dad's this past weekend and we put it on and I was like, I guess I haven't seen this, and I really enjoed it. You know, it was way sillier than I thought it was going to be. You know, I knew it'd be funny, but it was like very silly. You know, 90s silly. Yeah,
it's real goofy, but Joe Pesci is so good in it.
He's great.
So
yeah.
Good. And just a quick weird note on My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
I need to like see if I can find. I haven't done much online research. I know I did at the time, but there's like certain scenes at night when Joe Pesci's like sleeping and there's like all the noise, you know? Do you remember that like whole storyline where they move his like hotel or whatever?
Yeah.
One of the nights, Marissa Tomei is a mannequin in that bed, 100%. And like we were watching it and we were like, wait a second, because like he gets up and like the head like bobs in a weird way.
Oh my god!
I was like, what is going on with Marissa Tomei there? And we like rewound, and they definitely, because she doesn't have any dialogue, they definitely are just like, why are we gonna pay Marissa Tomei to lie in a bed on this shit day? Like fuck that. And it's just seriously, I don't even know if it's a mannequin. It could be like a sack with a wig on it. Like there is absolutely a fake person in one of those night scenes, and it's very funny.
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna have to check which scene. Maybe I can post some evidence or something or send it to you. But yeah, it was a funny discovery when I watched that.
It's like, really funny.
No way.
That's really funny. But not too surprising from movies from those times, you know? Like...
Yeah, totally. It's like, who cares? Fuck it. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we didn't have HD back then.
Exactly. So it's someone going to rewind in the theater? You can think you saw it all you want. You know?
Cool. Yeah, man. You got anything else?
I was going to say we both watched Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, I guess we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that at all.
Oh, man. Okay.
I mean, it's been a minute since that, but...
Yeah, I guess we didn't talk about that at all on the podcast. That's a good one to bring up. What'd you think? I mean, we talked a little bit. We texted back and forth a little bit on it, but... I
mean, it's not great. Like,
I didn't really like it.
Yeah, but I thought it was better than King of the Monsters.
It was definitely better than King of the Monsters. Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I get the complaints because I also agree with most of them.
Yeah. But
I just think that I don't know why these movies get like such. I feel like everyone's so harsh on them all the time.
I honestly, I go and watch these completely open-minded, and I'm just like shocked at some of the decisions that are made, and just like
there's some cool
the
stuff.
Writing is just like, what is happening, and to some of the decisions, like for instance, like, okay, in this one, they suddenly, like, jumped, like, a light year in technology. And they're like...
Yeah, it's a little silly.
They have, like, straight spaceships that go underground, but they have to go through, like, a wormhole to get down there, but then Godzilla easily cuts a new hole down into the center Earth, and then they go back up in, like, a matter of seconds. They're back on the surface. Like, none of it makes any sense whatsoever. But maybe, you know, I get that, you know, I'm not expecting a, like, intelligent movie here when I go to see it. I want to see them fight, obviously. And I think that there were some cool fights and stuff. But then it's just some things that just, like, I can't get past. Just some of the plot, I'm just like, I can't handle it because it just doesn't make any sense. You know?
Yeah, I will say it felt like once they got to, like, the Hollow Earth thing, which was, like, kind of cool at a certain point, but it's also like, okay, where's the fight in the Hollow Earth, please? Where they jump back and forth and all the gravity changes. Like, definitely thought that was going to be a thing. That didn't happen.
Where's the light source in the fucking Hollow Earth?
Yeah, that is insane.
There's just sunbeams. Like,
I do not understand that at all. Is
Makes
there just, like,
no
is the sun
sense.
just, like, the bare core? There's just, like, an Earth core that just, like, floats around.
But it's, like, sitting on the horizon. What?
That makes no sense at all.
Sense.
Especially because, this is just a fucked franchise. This franchise is so fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Because they definitely tried to do, like, a Nolan-y, like, real gritty, what would it be like with the first one, which was, like, somewhat successful. I still didn't love it, but, like, it was fine. It's cool,
probably my favorite out of them. Just because
it's the most cohesive, at least. Like,
right.
And then, like, Kong Skull Island is, like, a little more cartoony. Okay, whatever.
More
like,
campy,
but, like, not insane.
Yeah.
And then the second Godzilla is just, like, all set up for this, like, future of this franchise. So many, like, stupid fucking board meetings and, like, the guy from Silicon Valley and, like, Vera Farmiga video chatting and, like, just so much unnecessary trash.
Thomas Middleditch, who's basically canceled at this point.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so, like, that one just kind of, like, the fights in that were fun enough, but it's bad. And then this one I feel like just tries to take it, which I appreciate in a way, that it's like treating it a lot lighter, and it's like, who cares? There's cool neon colors, and there's a spaceship in the Hollow Earth, and this guy controls a giant robot from, like, a purple skull that has, like, tubes coming out of it. Like, whatever. Like, I'd rather have the giant purple skull. Like, tonally, I feel like it's a lot, like, sillier, which I think works in this, but also is just, like, it's just the most fucked franchise ever.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, and it felt like it was building to this. Like, they were like, well, we gotta do Godzilla versus Kong, so how many movies do we have to do to, like, make that happen?
Yeah.
And now it's just like, where does this go from here?
A
universe of Titans where there's, like, Kong and Godzilla are each in every movie, and, like, they, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem like there's anywhere to go.
I have a lot to unpack from all that. For one, like, I get the aesthetic and stuff, which, okay, I guess they're like, what is this, Night City, like, fucking cyberpunk technology, whatever. But then, you know, they defeat the, Mecha Godzilla by pouring, like, a fucking beer down the like,
so silly
fan shaft of the computer. And
yeah, it's just like a giant desktop control panel,
and that
pour water on,
like, makes it blow up. But another thing too is, like, they're trying really hard to have something to do for Millie Bobby Brown, you know, to keep her relevant, because she's obviously she's going to bring crowds because she's a very popular pop icon right now. But and she brings the young kids. So, but, like, the things that they're trying to have her do, and, like, her half-assed character is so strange to me. It just, I mean, there was literally, like, there really was no need for her to be in the movie at all.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And it feels, it's another thing where it's just like, why why are you trying to have these through-line characters of these movies? Like,
Yeah.
just hire a director to make a Godzilla movie, and they just make one that's loosely in the universe, and there's new people in it. Like, no one wants these, like, no one gives a fuck about Kyle Chandler. Like, who cares about Kyle Chandler in these movies? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And also the woman, she's a good actress who is like the Kong handler lady.
Yeah. I'm looking it up.
She's not in the other movies, right?
No,
this
I
is
think
like the first time they introduced
she was
her.
new. She was,
and they introduced her like she was in the other movies.
Well, because with Kong, that was like in the 70s or whatever, right? So all those people couldn't be around.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess
so they had to like kind of create their own new cast. Also, Alexander Skarsgård's character. I guess we're just reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong. I couldn't stand him in the movie really. And also he was
weird casting.
He's a teacher, but then he suddenly knows how to fly the spaceship. Okay, very strange. Who are you thinking of? Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall, yeah.
No.
Very strange.
Not Rebecca Hall. Is it her? Doesn't look like her in that picture. That is her. Yeah, Rebecca Hall. Yeah, that was strange casting. And we talked a little bit about this when we were texting back and forth, but Lance Reddick.
Yeah, just chopped out of that thing.
Here's a high-end actor who like is in
Lance Reddick.
Oh yeah, he has one line in this movie, and he just like pops up. It's just like what? But apparently, there was an article released. Sorry, we didn't expect to go this long, so I don't have any references or whatever. But you can look it up. There's an article about how he supposedly had like a way bigger part.
Yeah,
and they cut it. Which I guess makes sense because the movie is already sort of all over the place.
Yeah, but it was long and it felt trimmed. Like it felt like it was like trimmed way down.
It did.
Which on one hand, it's like, yeah, I mean, get to the fights. That's what everyone's here for. And I did think they were like fun. Like I think they utilized the environments. Like,
they were fun.
The fight in the water where Godzilla's like swimming under and then he's like jumping on the boats and stuff. It was like, okay, like. I at least haven't seen that in one of these. You know what I mean?
It looked good too. It really did. Yeah. The CG looked good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just a totally fucked franchise.
It's so like, bizarre.
It's like the Dark Universe if it had panned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like so convoluted and like you guys thought this was going to be like a universe. Like, not everything has to be a universe. You know, you can just, like, make a film franchise and just, like, have, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this is at the time when, you know, Marvel was at its height and everyone was, like, trying to cash in on that universe thing.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. And then the one character, too, last thing I'll say is the character played by Isa Gonzalez, the, like, super hot chick. That character was just like, yeah, clearly she's going to turn on them, right? Like clearly she's evil. Yeah. She's got the leather jacket. She's got her own crew. They get down into the hollow earth, and the thing is, she doesn't even do anything necessarily like bad. She just tries to analyze like the fucking plasma on the ground, right? And then that causes the entire hollow earth to collapse as she like pulls a sample. As they say, like they pull a sample from it. It just makes no sense at all. Yeah, and then we never go back.
The Hollow Earth thing, like, while I was like, this is kind of cool, it goes nowhere, and also it's just like, oh, they're, like, throwing this into this movie that already is, like, has all this other shit to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because there's really no need to go there. Like,
other than, that's where they put Kong at the end, you know?
Yeah. So he can be locked away for the rest of the Godzilla movies.
Yeah. Or whatever else comes next. And then
whatever the fuck. Like, are they working towards, like, the Titan franchise? Like, every time they call them Titans.
They keep referencing them. Yeah, like the Titans.
Is there going to be, like, a movie called Titans where it's, like, Godzilla, Kong? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? King Ghidorah.
Honestly, I don't know where they go from here. I feel like Mechagodzilla should have been in the sequel to this movie. Like, just have it be
totally.
about Godzilla versus Kong. That's it. Make it about that, but don't. Then you brought in. I know that they had to like unite them somehow, but it could have been. I don't know. Could have been something else. You could have just teased Mechagodzilla, and then.
Or you know what? Godzilla could have just fucking killed King Kong. Also, like Godzilla just like ripped off King Kong's arm and like spit it out and was like, ah! Kind of amazing. Like, I'd be in. I don't care.
That's how it ends. Just one of them dies. One wins. Like, I'd be in for that. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? People are gonna be mad that King Kong died. Like, come on.
It's like, what is this like? Is Murray C. Cooper like rolling in his grave? It's like, no. Who gives a shit? It's a giant monkey. Just like fucking Godzilla. Like,
who cares?
Combats his heart out and just like rips his heart out of his chest.
I don't think there's any like Kong enthusiasts that are gonna be like, that's not canon. You know
because like I don't know what other movie you do with King Kong.
What else?
Unless it's some weird Hollow Earth movie. But then it's just weird because it's basically just like Kong Skull Island because it's King Kong in a jungle, but then there's just another jungle above him that he can jump to,
and other dinosaurs.
Like,
you know,
and it's just like another Kong Skull Island. So I don't really get like where that goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know,
it's
man.
Just weird.
Hopefully, it's just the end of.
No one's thinking ahead on that one.
No. Hopefully, it's just the end of the franchise. Which is funny. It's like, don't you think you need to plan out movies for your universe?
Totally. Maybe like think about how they're going to interact. Like maybe a cohesive style of some kind. Like I'm all for like the Marvel movies like feeling different, but at the same time, I don't think it was like, oh, there's like a hovercraft in the Hollow Earth in this one. Oh, was not expecting that. You know what I mean? Like, not expected.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that's just the last one in the franchise because I mean I don't know where else they're gonna go. I mean, in my opinion, if they do make another one, it's just gonna be if they continue with what this current trajectory is based on this movie, it's just not gonna be worth watching or like it's just gonna be completely useless. I don't know.
They need to be 90 to 100 minutes, and it needs to be a monster shows up on Earth, and then Godzilla fights the monster. And you have people managing what's going on with the other monster, and it's that. But, like, the old ones are just, like... I mean, there are a lot of different, like, human storylines in the old ones, too, that are, like, weird.
For sure.
But for the most part, they're all pretty short, and it's all, like, hey, we got some readings in the fucking mountains. Shit's going down. Oh, my God. This is crazy. And then Godzilla shows up and fights them. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
You don't need anything fancy. Make it silly.
I will say, too, I think Kong was heavily, like, favored in this movie, too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I was like, I'm kind of a Godzilla fan, so, like, I wanted...
Yeah, I'm Team Godzilla.
Yeah, Team Zilla. Hashtag Team Zilla. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't a big fan. It was better than King of Monsters, but it's not saying much.
Looked good on the 4K.
Did look good on the 4K. The CG looked good as well, so at least it had that.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. Do you have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, I watched Beau Travail, which is I don't know if I pronounced that right, probably not. Claire Denis movie from I think 1999. Had this Baby Blue sitting around for a while. It's a crit, and boy howdy, is this a fucking banger.
Yeah.
Definitely late to the party on her movies. But
yeah, me too.
Very, very taken with it. And it's kind of, for lack of a better term, sounds really lame, but like it's got that movie magic where I just like don't know how they did it. And not like in a logistical way of like, how did they get all these actors together in this location? Like, how did you get this fucking tone across? Like, I think I could watch it like a bunch of times and still not really totally, I don't know. It's very hypnotic. It says so much without like having much dialogue at all. it just like gets across everything it's trying to get across in like a wordless, poetic way that I haven't really seen much else like it. And yeah, definitely would highly recommend. It's based on a Herman Melville book, and it's Denis Lavant in, I think they're in like West Africa. He's like a French, he's part of like the French army, and it's a lot of just like him and a lot of bald buff men doing drills and him writing in his journal for the most part, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. It's, I guess, a weird one to bring up because I really don't have much to say about it, but it's because there's like, it just like totally speaks for itself in a weird way.
Yeah.
And I was just like really, I don't know, just very taken with it. Like such an interesting tone, and the way that everything goes, they like deliver the story to you is like crazy. Just very crazy movie. Very good.
All right, cool. Anything else?
Yeah. I watched Steel Magnolias for the first time. Have you ever seen that?
Forever ago.
Yeah.
Forever
honestly,
ago.
Super fun movie. It was great. I mean, it's not fun. It's very sad, but it was fun at the same time. Just very well written. I guess
it's like my mom's. It's like my mom's favorite movie.
Yeah, totally. And I had heard that from like a lot of people that it's just like, oh, this is a classic. Like Cass was like, oh, it's like my family all loves it. Like my mom, my sister used to watch it all the time, and I just never seen it. And it popped up. It's like, yeah, let's give it a rip.
There you go.
And super watchable, really good script. I've been I guess not like super recently because I don't have any other examples, but I'm just a fan of like the long scene movies. I like that structure. Just like it jumps time. It's like one long scene and then it'll jump like 5 years and then be like one long scene.
Interesting.
Jump. It's like you know what I mean? It's like 4 set pieces and that's the movie, but they're like dialogue set pieces. I don't know. I like that structure.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. If you got a good script, let that thing rip.
Exactly. Let it rip, baby.
Cool.
But yeah. Not much else. Oh, I guess one more thing real quick is I watched Bad Trip. Did you watch this?
I did, yeah. Yeah. Actually, not pretty recently. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was way more enjoyable than I imagined.
Same here. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was really entertaining. I'm sorry, I'm struggling because I thought we had already talked about it, but I guess we didn't.
Did we?
No, maybe not. Or maybe I text you about it or something. I think I might.
Yeah, because I have it logged a couple days after Justice League, and I watched Justice League the day we recorded. So. Oh
yeah, I think. All right. Anyway, no, yeah, I thought it was really, really funny. I had a blast watching it. Yeah, man, I think everyone should check it out. It was very fun, and I do kind of like. I kind of knew about this guy's comedy. What's his name?
Eric Andre.
Yeah, Eric Andre. And I've seen some of his stuff, but I think this is probably his best thing that I've seen.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The show, I love his show, but it's like so intense and aggressive. And the last season, was getting into territory where I was like, not that it's problematic, but it's like, this is going very far. And I think you're traumatizing some people with like on the street bits. Like there's some really bad ones in the last season, but I mean, it's very funny. But I did really like this movie a lot, and I was expecting to like it because I really like Eric Andre, but I liked it. I think it exceeded my expectations, and I just liked how, number one, I didn't feel bad for a lot of the people. It was mainly like the joke wasn't on them a lot of the time. In a lot of movies it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked the way that it was kind of like treating the people that were in on the bits. It just seemed a lot more nice than like a lot of other things like this.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
And I also liked how small a lot of their bits were. Like there were definitely like really big scale ones. Like the musical one was amazing. I thought that was really funny.
That's great.
But like there's also the one where he's looking for Little Ray, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I forget what his name is in the movie, but he's just asking everyone that looks vaguely like him,
Yeah.
like, are you my friend or whatever?
Yeah.
And just like that, like small of a bit, you know what I mean? Just being able to like there were like hidden camera bits like edited into montages that were just like one-offs and like little things like that I hadn't really seen a movie like this kind of like structured like that.
Yeah.
It seems like it's mostly like, hey, here's a narrative scene that we pre-shot and now we're walking into a bit, you know what I mean? And now here's this and that. But I think the way that they kind of incorporated a lot of ideas into like, it was just like so stuffed with like different bits and ideas.
Yeah.
And like using the drug trip as a way to kind of like accomplish ones that you couldn't accomplish in the story, or the dream sequence.
Yeah.
And like having the dream sequence be a bit that you like couldn't do in the narrative or whatever. I just thought it was really creative the way that like
it was.
They kind of like structured that out.
Totally. And like you said too, like you said, a lot of the jokes like weren't on the people who were unaware. Like it was on them. Like look at these crazy people. Like, you know, look at them. They're high on drugs and they're walking through the grocery store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like all on them. And no, that's pretty cool. And I just thought it was pretty creative, like how it transitioned to from certain bits. Like it was shot narratively, and then it would go like almost seamlessly into a bit. And that transition wasn't harsh at all. Like it felt very natural and part of it. And it was just a very enjoyable movie. I was definitely laughing my ass off for a lot of it. I was cracking up for some parts.
I think one of my favorite things, not to get too into it, but when they're talking to that guy, I think it's Tiffany Haddish is talking to this guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know you know them, and I know you know where they are. And he's like, I have no fucking idea. And they somehow Photoshop him in the photo with the two guys. And she's like, then what's this photo of you with him? It's like the most mind-blowing thing.
It's almost like a magic trick. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like, how did you
funny.
get this? Yeah.
Yeah. Like so many good ideas like that. I was fucking dying. Like,
yeah.
It is so funny. I almost watched it again the other day. I was like, I really thought it was really funny.
Now that we're talking about it, I probably will. I feel like watching it again. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And it was a nice brisk one too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really, really enjoyable. Definitely great. And Tiffany Haddish had a pretty big part in it too. So that was interesting.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome.
That first, when she crawls out from the car and she's like, which way did he go or whatever, and the guy's helping her. I don't know.
She rips the car off the police car, or the door off the police car.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's amazing. I really liked it a lot. It was a lot. I was, like I said, I was expecting it to be good, and it definitely exceeded my expectations. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
For sure.
And that's another one just been shelved for like over a year.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out like right around the start of the pandemic, and I guess it like accidentally came out on Prime for like a week or something.
Oh, I think I read something about that.
And then I was like, fuck, I missed it.
Yeah. And then they decided to release it.
When's it dropping? Finally.
Yeah, no, that was good. The whole white chicks bit.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Really good.
It like didn't. I don't think it really ever struck out. Like I was like, this one's not funny. Like,
no, yeah.
Most of them, if not all of them, were funny.
It's like consistently funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it kind of feels like one of those like classic movies that you can watch over and over again and come back to.
Yeah, totally. And it felt like a bit of a fresh take on the sort of like hidden camera.
Yeah, totally fresh. Felt like really fresh.
I thought Borat 2 was really funny, but it also was like very much like it's all. And I'm not saying it needed to reinvent itself or anything, but I just haven't seen one of these movies in a while that like wasn't sort of like that.
Totally.
Or like what was the show that he did? Who is America or something?
Yeah.
So it was like kind of I know that was a show, but yeah, it felt fresh.
I agree. Totally. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you ready to move on then?
Yeah, let's do it.
So before we get into our review, I just want to let everyone know that we're going to be spoiling Mortal Kombat. We won't have a non-spoiler segment. So, Ronnie, go ahead and take over.
Before you get into our spoiler segment, I'd like to interject to discuss that special deal from our sponsor again. For the listeners of the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audio book download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audio book today, go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Again, that's audibletrial.com/LTURAM for your free audio book.
First learned about this 7 years ago. On a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities. It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie. All right, now we are in our spoiler segment for Mortal Kombat, the new film that's streaming now on HBO Max. Another one of those great perks, I guess, about this year. All these theater releases. Yeah. And you get to see it, and you and I get to see it in that wonderful 4K HDR.
Sweet 4K. Hey.
All right. Well, since we're in spoilers, let's just go ahead and unleash our thoughts. Zach, what do you think of the movie?
Well, I did not think it was very good, personally. I didn't hate it. Didn't think it was like trash, but I think it really is lame that there wasn't a tournament in this movie. I think that's my biggest problem. Like they built this tournament, and it's clearly all set up for a sequel, and it's once again just this universe bullshit. I don't care.
It's
just make
called
the movie.
It's called Mortal Kombat, the tournament. Dude, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve about the fucking movie.
Yeah. Like, and after the final, like, action set piece, I was like, okay, this is either going to end in 2 minutes.
Right.
Or there's going to be 40 more minutes. And I don't know which it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of hoping there's 40 more minutes, but also I'm kind of not, because I'm kind of not, like, enjoying this that much.
It was also already long at that point.
Yeah, it was too long. Like, I know I was nitpicking before we did the show or whatever, just being like, wish this thing was a tight 90, but honestly, it would just play way better if it was. Like, there's just a lot of fat in this movie that doesn't need to be there.
Totally.
It's just kind of, I don't know, some of the action was fun. Like, a lot of the kills were fun. Like, the guy's arms freezing and, like,
yeah,
a lot of that. It's like cool.
I don't know. Well, first off, I guess should have started. How much do you know about the lore? We should have talked about this. Not much. And
I watched like a thing about it before.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like a Mortal Kombat head or anything.
Yeah. You've seen the original, right?
Yeah. Okay. I've seen both the movies.
Yeah.
Not recently, but like I've definitely seen them.
Yeah. I don't know a lot. I mean, I've looked into it, and there's like a lot of lore. I've kind of been curious, and I looked, up on they have their own wiki, and I've looked up stuff. There's like a lot of lore. There's definitely a lot I don't know, but I feel like I know a decent amount, at least of the main characters. So there are certain things that I was sort of waiting for, or like kind of predicting, like Jax, his arms free. Oh, I knew he was going to get metal arms at some point.
Yeah, totally.
Something like that, or like, I don't know. Certain characters doing certain things in certain fan servicey moments. I was like, is this going to be Sonya? Yep, there's Sonya, and things like that. So I don't know. There was some of that fan servicey stuff which is expected and great, but I think overall it was just like I didn't understand like what it was trying to do. And the main thing is, if you wanted to have it about these main characters, why introduce this new character that literally had like nothing to do?
Yes. That
was one of my other biggest complaints.
Like the main guy, you mean?
The main character, what is his name?
He's trash.
Half the movie he's just standing in the background and he just sort of like smirks. He has nothing to do.
He also sounded, I don't know if maybe I was just a little too under the influence when I watched this, but I was like, is he just like ADR'd? Like, is he really delivering these lines? Something about his performance is really weird, and I know it's probably because they just cast him because he's a martial artist and he's not like that great of an actor. But
definitely not.
I don't know. It felt fucking weird. He felt very weird.
His name's Louis Tan, and he played Cole Young.
Yeah, Cole.
So why'd they introduce this new character when it's like... So here's my thing. I get that they probably wanted to introduce a new character to be like, oh, you can kind of see yourself through them and introduce you'll be introduced. Don't need it. Also, this is the origin for all of those characters, so you're already there with them, following them with the journey. Doesn't matter. It's not like like you are seeing them develop their powers and be part of this Mortal Kombat tournament for the first time and all that stuff too. Literally, don't need the new character then.
Literally, the only thing that you need the new character to reveal is the girl's house, and so she has someone to describe how obsessed she is with Mortal Kombat or whatever. Because there's like the house, you know what I mean, with she's like, all this research I did, blah blah blah. Yeah. But like that could just be voiceover, and the movie could start right there. You literally don't need any of that character, especially because I assumed, not being someone who's like super in on the lore, that he was going to be Scorpion.
Yeah, so that was a weird thing. They like kept giving you these like visions.
And it's just like
they kept.
Why is that guy in this movie? Like,
exactly. So like he kept having these like visions of being Scorpion or whatever. Like, okay, he's gonna build up to be Scorpion. All right, I guess that's what they're going for. And then he just wasn't. And then Scorpion just shows up.
Yeah, and what's he been doing? Just not being him all this time?
It's
very not thought
no
out.
sense.
And it's like, if the payoff is supposed to be that he will take over Scorpion, then this should not have been a whole movie. The whole movie should have been whatever's coming next and this movie, you know? Or just make a fucking show. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Make it a TV show.
Make it a fucking TV show.
And just have like one big fight every episode or something. And like...
Yeah, totally.
Who cares? Like, another thing where it's just like, I don't know. Everyone's here to see him fight. Who cares? I don't. Like...
Yeah. And here's what I'll get to. So before I watched the movie, I guess side tangent, there was a sale for Mortal Kombat 11, the video game. And I was like,
yeah,
I kind of don't have a video game going on right now. This is really cheap. It was like $30 for the whole package. You get all these characters. Mm-hmm. You get Terminator, Rambo. I'm like, okay, kind of cool. Sure. And RoboCop. Like, all right, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. And I was like, all right, I'll get this. So I started playing, and then I started playing the story. I got some of the lore. I got refreshed on some of that beforehand. I can tell, and I was remembered by playing the game, that Mortal Kombat has never had good plot. You know,
yeah,
it's never had good plot, and that's fine if you want to get over that. But then you introduce this fresh start. I feel like it was like it was very much a missed opportunity. You know, just
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was very disappointed.
If you're gonna make this like this franchise that has deep lore and is all this crazy stuff in this past, then just fucking throw me into it and act like it's Lord of the Rings, and just like give me like a prologue, give me all the lore,
give me that. Honestly, I would eat that shit up.
The times the movie was the best, I mean, it was obviously the fights, but the times that it wasn't the fighting, it was when it was fantasy. Like, I didn't like any of the stuff in the modern world, really, or the earthly shit. It was all the stuff where they were just, like, guys in extravagant costumes standing on cliffs, like, debating about tournaments. You know what I mean? And it's like, I can handle so much of that. Like, just make that the movie. Don't have this character from Chicago. So not Chicago, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Also, a funny nitpick.
That's funny that as a Chicagoan, you like just.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, I wonder what city this is. It's so generic. And then later in the movie, he's like, I'm just a boxer from Chicago. And I was like, oh, supposed to be Chicago, huh? Because at one point, early in the movie, when he splits up from his family, the metal arms guy is like,
Jax.
you gotta go to Gary, Indiana, to this place, and we'll like meet you later or something like that. And I was like, weird mention of Gary, Indiana, which is like right over the border in Indiana from Chicago. And then later in the movie, they show up, and it looks like they're in the middle of like a farmland. And Gary, Indiana is like a very like industrial area.
Is it? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's a very depressed area, like, but a lot of like foreclosed buildings and stuff. But it's like, it's a city. It's like an industrial area, and like,
wow.
It's just a weird thing where they very specifically name drop it.
Right.
And then it's like, what about like any other town in Indiana? Because that's what this looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's
rural
literally
Indiana.
like a barn.
Sure.
Yeah, there's like a barn that they fight in front of, and it's just like, there's no barns there. It's like,
really,
you like still haven't escaped like the Chicago outskirts. It's like part of that, you know what I mean? So
really, so that's okay.
Lots of like power plants and shit. Like,
wow,
it's very weird.
So they were probably like, scriptwriter was just like, oh, Chicago, we're right by there, right? What's the next town over? There. What's the next town? Oh, Indiana, they got farms, right?
Very weird. And it's like not like a huge deal, but it's just like, why specifically call out, because he says Gary, Indiana, here's the address. Just give him the address, or like make up a town. I don't know. I just thought that was really weird that they specifically call it out, and it's like nothing.
You can make up a town, and if it's like small enough, who gives a fuck, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Very strange. Which also, I think during that scene, what's his name? Goron, the like forearm guy.
Yeah. Something like that.
I feel like I don't know very much about the lore and all that, but he seems like a pretty major player.
He is.
I mean, he's definitely like a huge character, just visually from the games. Like, obvious, like,
because he looks crazy.
Yeah, he's like a staple character when you think of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And if the intention is to build this new franchise, that's all this fucking guy is in these movies. He shows up and gets killed outside of a barn in like 5 minutes.
Goro.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that whole sequence was weird. So weird, dude. That's honestly, at that sequence, it was when I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm out on this movie because, yeah, it was. And I was kind of, I was into it at first in the very beginning, like the prelude.
I was too.
I was like, all right.
Like the title card, I was like, oh, okay. Let's like,
let's do this. Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. But to get back to a point that you were sort of saying earlier was like to not have it like sort of being in modern day.
Mm-hmm.
In Mortal Kombat's defense, like a lot of the major characters, like Sonya and fucking Cage or whatever, like and Kano, they are in modern times, so you sort of have to have that. You have to have it in that time, so because there's a lot of military things, the ambiguous like special forces branch of the military, special forces. It's always the special forces. Yeah, so you gotta have to have it in that time for those characters, but I don't know. I guess in the end, it sort of was strange because you have this like sort of build up, all about the tournament, all about the tournament, all about the tournament. All right, they've got these scars, which isn't in the games at all or anything, but they have a birthmark that's exactly the logo of Mortal Kombat.
Which I was thinking, like, in that scene, it's like, yeah, it's a birthmark. It's like, oh, very intricate birthmark.
Yeah.
That is
It's
a
like
crazy
literally
birthmark.
a dragon head in a circle.
It's a very detailed birthmark. That is wild. That's a birthmark. Dude, that's not a brand that you got specifically. That is crazy, dude. Like,
And not only that, if you defeat that person, you get the brand. You take it from them.
yeah.
So like Sonya
Very
didn't have one, but she like was part of the group. So they go to this place and they have to train, and so what was so
Very weird that she...
Yeah.
I was just going to say,
Go
she
ahead.
shows up and she has the purple ring power. And she's like, yeah, I killed him, so I got the power now. It's like, okay, well, who decided that you have purple ring shoot from arm power? Like, that just happened?
Yeah.
Because she kills the guy, gets the brand, and then she acts like it's not a big deal. And it's like, who decided that you can shoot purple rings from your arms? Where did that come from? And it's just written off, like...
It's like I
You know
get
what I mean?
that she does that in the game, like I get that, but why? And it's also like was the whole thing with Kano, who by the way sort of completely held up the movie with his humor.
Oh, yeah. So bad.
Yeah. So he develops his laser eye power and becomes a bad guy, which he's a bad guy in the franchise, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to develop that power. Sonya just had these purple rings, but Kano had the mark already. Sonya didn't. So I thought you had to have the mark to develop the powers. It doesn't make sense, dude.
It doesn't at all. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's really silly, and it's just kind of like took itself too seriously and didn't really have... There's like almost no value in it aside from fan service. But even I think if you were a giant Mortal Kombat fan, I don't think this would be a very satisfying movie. Personally, like,
Yeah.
it's just focused on some fucking generic boxer dude who has nothing to do with anything.
Nothing. He has nothing to do, and he's
Like,
and
is
he has
he
a
not a character from the games? He's not.
No, they made him up for the fucking movie, dude. He's a completely
Yeah,
new
he
character.
sucks.
He sucks, and he has a family. Cause I guess to make him more likable. So strange.
Yeah, I don't know. Just weirdly misguided. It's just like, what's the deal with this? I
Hated
don't
Cole.
really get it.
Hated Cole. Hated him.
Yeah, Cole sucked.
He's a boxer from Chicago. Get the fuck out of here. He also loses. He loses in the beginning. How does he ready for Mortal Kombat? How does he get marked from childbirth?
I have no idea. I also fucking died laughing at the guy. Like, I don't know, is he like the guy who owns the like wrestling place that they're at? I don't know. That guy's performance, that's like, it was just so big. He was like, oh yeah? I don't know, just, I can't even describe it. Just the way that guy acted, I was just like chuckling every time he was on screen.
I don't
the guy he
remember.
talks to in the locker room. He's like an older guy with a mustache he
Kinda.
talks to.
Yeah.
In the locker room. He's like a trainer or something. I don't know. That guy was fucking weird. I was like, these scenes are so weird. Like, what is going on in these dialogue scenes? It's just like him asking Cole, like he asked the guy questions about like what he's doing so you could just like get information across about him or something. I don't know. Very funny.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the coolest parts are like Sub-Zero. He was badass.
Oh yeah.
But like,
yeah, like all the ways that he just like killed people were fun.
those are creative.
But-
I'll give it that. Those are creative things that they did. He was very powerful. They made him like almost overpowered. But like, yeah. I don't know.
The thing is, though, I remember watching it and being like, there are a lot of fun kills, and I can't remember any of them.
I know, me too.
Like,
we both
I
also
thought-
watched
I was
this.
like-
We watched this like since Friday, so it was like 5 days ago. 4 days ago. Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So 4 days.
5. Yeah.
And I'm struggling to remember a lot of like some of those fights just because, and I wasn't drinking or anything. I watched it. This movie's over, and I really don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, it's just very unremarkable. There's not a lot to it, and like at times in the beginning, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of a cool opening," and then it like cuts to them talking on this rock throne or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of." Didn't think it was gonna be like this fantasy. Kind of into this.
So there was some of that stuff which was great. You know, I was also
that's
in
about
on
as far as that goes.
Yeah,
you know,
I was in on the fantasy stuff.
Totally, and like,
give me that.
I like that it went a little harder with that than I was expecting, but it just never goes anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no tournament. So, yeah, it seemed like it needed to be like trimmed significantly and then add on a set piece at the end. Or, like, if Mortal Kombat 2 is going to pop up and it's just entirely a tournament, maybe... I don't think it'll be worth it, actually. I was going to say, maybe it'd be worth it. It's like, probably not. Because it's
honestly,
much a dud movie.
It's really, really stupid that they don't have the tournament in the movie.
It's really dumb.
It's a stupid decision. It's really stupid. And they have this, and they show up, and they basically have to train. They have this long montage, okay, whatever. Then the villains show up and, like, take over their training place. Not once. They get banished, and then they come back again, and they have to fight them off again, and this tournament still hasn't happened. It's just like, what the fuck is this movie? Why was this script written? So strange. So strange.
Yeah. Very weird. I really just don't... I kind of just, like, don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And that's really disappointing because I kind of was looking forward to this as someone who... again, I'm not, like, a huge Mortal Kombat guy, but, you know, I've played enough of the games to where in my youth, you know, I played the classics growing up. I didn't get to see some of my characters that I wanted to see, or they were completely weird. Like Reptile was like a literal crocodile. That was weird.
And it was just like a throwaway fight too.
That was a throwaway fight. I know that
it was almost like too packed with fights.
Yeah.
Where it was like all these like little small fights when I would rather there just be like 3 or you know what I mean, 4 maybe of just like big ones. You know what I mean? Like do like a 10-minute long set piece where it's just a fist fight. You know what I mean? But it's kind of just
wouldn't it be way more satisfying for the audience? Like if you have to have Cole, all right? If you have to have Cole, you bring him in and he's brought. For one, you don't bring him into a group of people who are then trying to figure out what Mortal Kombat is. You bring him into the group who's like, they're training for Mortal Kombat. They are training for Mortal Kombat. You are one of the best Earth Realm's greatest heroes, even if you don't know it yet. We're going to train you. We train you and make it like a fucking boxing movie. Make it like a Rocky or fucking Creed. You bring him in and then you train him, and then he is like one of the last standing contestants in this Mortal Kombat of all these fights, you know, all these epic fights. And he's got the final showdown, and he somehow miraculously wins. And that's where you fucking end it. And on a high note, satisfying, like, if you're going to make this guy a boxer, make it like a boxing movie. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like something. It was just kind of like nothing. It was like the first act, or first and second act of a movie stretched into the whole movie. Like, there was no third act, it felt like.
Or even, like, a condensed version of, like, half of a season of a show.
Yeah, it was really weird. And it was just, like, such an obvious attempt at making a franchise.
Clearly.
People forget that if the first one's shit, there's not going to be one. And if there is one, people aren't going to care. You know what I mean? Like, you need to make the movies good in order for there to be more of them.
It's like it's something with Warner Brothers, dude. It's like what are they doing? They also own DC.
I'm starting to think that they agreed to this HBO Max deal just because their whole release schedule was shit.
Yeah, their movies are horrible. It's crazy. I did have a prediction though. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the podcast. I don't think it's gonna happen now, but I had a prediction.
I like this.
I was like, if this movie is successful, and they're trying to do a universe thing, this was before I actually watched the movie, but I'm gonna throw it out anyway. Maybe it'll have traction. There are in the video games, because it's Warner Brothers, they own DC and they own Mortal Kombat. There are several DC Universe Mortal Kombat merges. And so my thought was like, if Snyderverse shit ended up working out or whatever, and Mortal Kombat was a really good film, now I know it's not.
Yeah. They're going to make like Sub-Zero versus Batman or something.
Yeah. And that's in the video games. So they own those properties, so I kind of figure they probably might be long-term goal, but you got to work hard on those little films first, man, before you get to that point.
Yeah, you can't just jump in. Same thing with the Godzillas. You got to earn them. Love them or hate them, the Marvel movies did earn like the last Avengers movie.
They earned it, dude. Lot.
Yeah, like
they earned
it's
it.
a lot.
And of course it's pop film, we know what it is, but it earned those moments because it built each of those characters one by one.
Yeah.
And over many years slowly, cohesively created this story, and then by the end you have this final epic conclusion of hundreds of characters. They're in that final scene, you see hundreds of characters, thousands of characters that you've at least kind of seen, and and you understand them, and you see them face off this evil force. It's like, that is epic as fuck, and that was successful. And I know that that's very rare and has never been done before, but like, the lesson's there in front of you, learn from that. Start small. You're going to you're not going to have an audience right off a huge mess audience from the get-go. You have the property, so right away you already have the fans that are in on it. Start small. Mortal Kombat, make it about just like a very simple, just a few amount of characters, right? Few amount of characters, introduce this cool guy, he wins this minor tournament. Oh, but the next movie, he's the champion to go into the bigger tournament, which has like all the realms or something. And now he's got to face the fucking space guys now in the next one. And that's how you build that shit. But it's just like, I just don't get it. I feel like it's just like common sense. But know what it is. It's and I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like I know everything. And I'm sure a lot of the writers too and producers are like, yeah, we fucking know. But it's just it's too many cooks in the kitchen. A lot of these types of things.
Oh, definitely.
These big studios, they have too many people, they have too many investors, they have too many people with opinions, and then they're all meshing in together through fucking emails like, oh, I think you should turn this scene to this, and you end up with this like mishmash film that's all over the place.
Yeah, it's like movies made by committees, and it's like all these movies are like a means to an end. They don't feel like genuine movies.
Totally.
They feel like
totally.
I feel like this is a good example of what they've already done with the Godzilla franchise and the like DC universe stuff, where it's like you get one, you do one, and you go, look, we did one. And everyone's like, whoa, you did one. And then like, cool, the next one is the one that's going to have all the stuff in it. or like, we're going to start introducing it all, and then the next one's going to be the big one. But like, you're not giving everything its proper time. Like, there probably should have been a Batman movie after the Superman movie, and then a Wonder Woman movie, and then a movie with the three of them, and then Justice League.
Exactly.
Not
dude.
a Superman movie, a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman movie, and then a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
It's too fast. Like, you're not earning that time. You're not introducing anyone.
Totally.
These, like, you can't treat it with this grandeur if no one cares about anything.
Exactly.
And that's, if you're gonna do that, you need to just make them very concise and to the point and have them be like 90-minute brain off movies. And not to say that they're super intellectual if they don't have that, but like Mortal Kombat, you're overthinking it. There's too much setup in this.
You're overthinking it.
No one wants this. Just make it all them fighting, or make it really short and then be already making the second one where there's a tournament. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Yeah. Like Godzilla vs. Kong. It's weird and it's not earned because it's not like any of the other movies. It's totally different than both the Godzilla movies and the King Kong movie. Like, there's no similarity. There's four
so
in that
strange.
franchise and they're all wildly different. You know
so
what I mean?
weird. Yeah.
And it's just like, what have you made now? Nothing, because it's a failure.
Ugh.
And it's just goofy. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand it's people wanting to jump ahead to have the next Avengers, but I think by now it seems very apparent that that's just like not a thing unless you release like 15 movies before it. You know what I mean?
It's so frustrating. It's really frustrating. Yeah. It's just like I don't know. It's just like we're getting so many movies that are just like failures lately. I don't know. It sucks. It's like
shit, Mike.
Anything part of a franchise has just been not good in my opinion, or not, at least not great, unless you've earned the moments like Marvel. And even then, it's like I feel like it's kind of reached its peak. It's in a new era, and they're working on that. And sometimes it's not always successful, but I don't know, man. I feel like even some of, well, maybe that's not true. I was gonna say, even the worst Marvel stuff is better than some of the other WB stuff. And
depends.
A lot of DC Snyder fans would really hate on me for that, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the Marvel stuff is definitely way more successful than the DC stuff. At like what it's trying to do, it definitely is. But I think it's like,
it's not perfect. I'm not saying it is, but yeah.
No, totally. And I think DC now is trying to like pivot and be like, we'll just do whatever we want. Multiple universes. We'll do whatever we want. And it's just like, okay, sure. Like that might lead to interesting singular movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just you failed, basically. Especially if they don't make another Justice League. What a failure of a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, it's a 4-movie like shitty franchise.
Yeah. Well, there's,
or I guess 5 movies.
They're still trying to continue it, man. The Flash movie's coming out. There's the Flash from the Justice League. Do you think?
Oh yeah, because that's gonna be the one with all the Batmans and the multiverse, and then they're trying to wrap it all in with the multiverse.
Because that is a comic book thing, so they're gonna bring in Thomas Wayne, and it's
I get it, and it, like certain times it's like, well, that's what the source material's like. You know what I mean? So like, fair enough, but also like, maybe it's not the best and it can stay in the source material. Like, maybe it's a different medium and that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like,
that,
maybe...
And also, maybe this isn't the right, like, part of your franchise to introduce that. They're like, totally. Okay, well, what if we just throw more people into it, you know? What if we do the Flashpoint Paradox? That'll be the Flashpoint Paradox is, like, one of the most pivotal, like, universe-bending Flash storylines in the comics, which combines and intertwines like all of the fucking storylines that it's earned up to that point.
Yeah.
Let's make that the first movie.
Yeah, of
the Flash. That sounds like a fucking terrible idea. Why don't you just make a Flash movie where he just fights. He's a really lovable guy. He's a real interesting, funny character. He's got his powers, and he stops the villain. Why don't you just do that?
Yeah. And it's weird because that's, I feel like, their mentality for everything. But they did the opposite with Mortal Kombat. Where if it's like, why don't you make the first movie the tournament? They're like, fuck no, that comes later. You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck would we do that? This is weird.
So what do they call the next movie? They're just going to call it Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
It's like, Mortal Kombat.
So silly.
The tournament is here.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, it just seems like there's trouble over there. There's trouble brewing. They're not doing well. What's up on the release schedule? I'm looking to look it up.
For just like future movies in general, or
yeah, just for Warner Brothers, like
Warner Brothers
for the rest of the year. For like the HBO, since we're talking about them fucking everything up.
Yeah, I think there's something coming soon, probably.
Oh God, please let Matrix 4 just be like so sick. Matrix 4,
please.
I still have faith. It's gonna be good. Lana rules. It's gonna be sick.
I need this movie to be good.
Yeah,
I really do.
It has to be.
I really need it to be good.
There's the new Conjuring dropped a trailer.
I saw that. It looks okay. I like the first.
It looks whatever.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I'm in on Waterbed Ghost though. Big fan of Waterbed.
That was actually
Ghost in the Waterbed.
very creative. Very cool,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
I'm in. Ghost living in the waterbed. Oh my God. Have we talked about Space Jam on the cast yet?
No, but we should. We should.
Yeah. Just quick. This is becoming a crazy sidebar. But
all right. Well,
I'm down
first
to
of all,
it.
let's just say I think we're done with Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah. It's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to give a rating real fast?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it. Like 1.5 or 2, probably.
That's what I'm thinking. I think I'll.
I felt like it was like a 2.5 right when I watched it, and then the more I thought about it, the more I disliked it. So it's hard to say. I guess I'll go 2.
I think I'll go 2 as well. All right, you heard it here. 2 stars.
You heard it here, folks.
But yeah, moving on to other topics before we end the podcast. Space Jam. Okay, I feel like we kind of have to review this movie. Right?
Yeah.
Like when it happens.
It's gonna be really hard. Honestly, I'm gonna sound very dramatic saying this. It was a very depressing thing for me to see. I was like depressed after I watched this movie. It like made me sad to an extent. And not because I love Space Jam, but just like this is what like who do you think we are in a way? Like who's this for? And who wants this? And I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch, and people think this is gonna be fucking sick. But
another universe thing.
Yeah, just like I don't need Game of Thrones characters in Space Jam.
So weird.
I don't need it. I don't need the Joker or Pennywise the Clown in Space Jam. I don't need it. It's a dumb movie about Bugs Bunny playing basketball with Michael Jordan. And if you're going to make a sequel, cool. LeBron James is a big basketball player. He plays basketball with Bugs Bunny now. Look at that. You got Space Jam too. Like, I don't understand. It's just I seriously just don't understand.
I think it would have been okay if they had sort of broadened it a bit and sort of maybe teased like, oh, there's all these other universes. Like, in the movie, like not in the trailer, like sort of like if you're in the movie and you see him like being teleported and he's going to there's all these like universes passing by him, and you see Game of Thrones or fucking It World or whatever flying past you, and then
It World,
Stephen King
funny.
World or whatever.
Where Pennywise just like commits hate crimes.
Yeah.
It World.
Whatever. If it was like a real small Easter egg and he lands on Looney Tunes World. That's it. You know, just like I don't need these other worlds or universes in this. I wanted Looney Tunes. I want Looney Tunes. I want LeBron James and Looney Tunes. That's it. And I don't. And then having them like be part of like the audience, and then it's sort of just like, who's this for?
I don't get it.
Who's this for? Is it not? I mean, I think it's supposed to be for kids, but you're showing like all these
it's
adult.
Not for kids.
It's weird.
Yeah, if Pennywise the Clown is in it, then how's that for kids? It's a rated R movie.
It's weird.
And Game of Thrones, yeah, kids love watching Game of Thrones with all the fucking HBO induced lesbian sex scenes. You know what I mean? Just like, what the hell? Like, yeah. I don't know.
Incest and nudity, like, oh, it's totally kid friendly.
And it's like, Game of Thrones is fine. It is what it is. I'm not trying to rag on it, but like, I just don't.
But not for Space Jam.
I don't get the pairing. I don't get the pairing, and like, I get that it's like a big like cultural thing, but I really just don't understand the choice to like make it like this.
It's very
and I
strange.
Also, on top of the fact that like it's a really dumb idea and I don't get it, they also like don't follow the way the original was. Like,
yeah.
He goes to Looney Tunes World and is animated, which is not like the original.
No, I thought that was weird too.
And then they come here, but they like turn like realistic.
Yeah, they're realistic. I wanted the Tom and Jerry cartoon look. That's what I wanted. Yeah, that was perfect.
And Tom and Jerry, I didn't see it, but they literally like made a way to make the animation look really cool. And
it should have been
I wanted to watch it.
It should have been that
because of the animation, and to think that
it's not a great movie.
They're like
still.
Not. Yeah, but still, it's like this is also like something for the same company. Like, why wouldn't they use this tech to make Space Jam? And yeah, it's like I'm not. I don't have like a super. I'm not like. I wasn't super excited for Space Jam 2. I don't have a huge stake in the original. It was fun. I was into it when I was a kid. And like, I'm sure it'd be a fun watch if I watched it again. It'd be like, oh, this is Space Jam.
Nostalgic. It's nostalgic. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Looney Tunes just like, it's almost like Space Jam is popular, but they think people don't like Looney Tunes. So like, well, Looney Tunes is old and stupid, so we need like something like cool that's like not Looney Tunes.
Like, I understand that like Looney Tunes has been basically non-existent for like 20 years, and like Gen Z or whatever doesn't understand like what those characters are. But why is that not okay? Like, why?
Yeah, this is the point to reintroduce them to them. And also, hey, guess what? There is a whole universe. It's the Looney Tunes one. That's a whole property that you can like make a bunch of shit.
There it is.
If it's successful.
You have a universe. You don't need to bring in other universes. You have one.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's like a giant series back catalog of material. Like years and years of material that you can call back to. And not to say that like it's going to target the same audience, or that retroactively people are going to be like analytically watching old Looney Tunes cartoons, because like that's unrealistic.
Of course.
But I just don't really understand. It seems like, yeah, it was like Looney Tunes weren't enough, so they had to like fucking desperately reach to the bottom of the barrel at any property.
You know what?
Like, are the Mortal Kombat characters going to be in this? Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what's happening, dude? It's just like there are fewer and fewer companies owning more and more content.
Totally.
So it's just like you have like 3 or 4 or 5 major players in the entire industry, and they own everything. So they own like WB owns Mortal Kombat, DC Universe, fucking Looney Tunes, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking, so you have the HBO universe, you have the Disney universe, you have it's so crazy that, but they feel like they have like, oh, we own all of these properties, we should include them all in everything that we do. It's just like, what the fuck? Just give me a Looney Tunes basketball movie. That's what made the first one great.
Yeah.
I don't need Game of Thrones into it or fucking it in the movie. I get that you own it, all right? I get it.
It's a weird like product of like the weird like corporate version of like meme culture.
Yes.
It's like, it's just enough to see it. Like the amount of like spam listicles I saw like linking on other websites that are like 10 characters you missed.
The Easter eggs.
Or this. Yeah, Easter eggs in the Space Jam trailer.
It's exactly,
I don't give a fuck about it.
It's exactly
you know
what they wanted from the trailer. You know, that's exactly what they wanted.
And it's just the same thing as like seeing a meme. You're just like, look, it's Pennywise. And you go, okay.
And yeah.
He's at the basketball game. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, it's crazy that they, like, you know, made the time. I know there's animators who, like, built this and everything. Like, there's a lot of detail on that, and that's kind of cool. But, like, I just don't think it's... I don't think it serves the film at all. And...
Yeah. And, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm fine with Easter eggs. Like, if there was this list... Like, I don't know, everyone was like, hey, Indiana Jones is in Star Wars Episode 1 if you look at the pod racing scene. Shit like that's fun. I don't care if you put the Joker in,
that's a
in
real,
Space Jam 2 in the background.
That's a real,
I mean?
That's a literal Easter egg. That's a real Easter egg.
Yeah.
Not
but
like purposefully,
you
every, you know.
It's not like,
yeah,
intentional story Easter egg where it's part of like a multiverse. Fucking kill myself. I don't know.
Anyway, there's that.
I'm trying to see if there was... I saw so many annoying listicles for this, and now I'm looking up a cohesive listicle, and I can't find one. I want to see all the people in it. Wow, okay. So, didn't see this, but there's a cameo from the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange?
Yes. I did see that. I did see that in an article.
Fucking unbelievable. Like, what the hell? Yeah, it's part of the Space Jam universe. It's a guy who like loves to rape people.
What's with all this? Like... What's with all this dark stuff, dude?
Yeah. What the fuck?
What's going on?
So weird. There's a Thundercat. It looks like one of the Thundercats.
There's a bunch. You'll be surprised.
God. Yeah. I also...
Is it trying to be like weird. Ready Player One? Like, it's so dumb.
It seriously is. It's just Ready Player One they thought was gonna be successful and it wasn't. It's like, what if we made Space Jam Ready Player One? Then will it be successful? No. It's just a bad idea. I also think it's weird, maybe I just don't know this, but Iron Giant is also heavily featured in the trailer for this and was in Ready Player One.
Yep.
And I guess I just didn't realize that like people liked the Iron Giant that much.
People apparently do. People love that movie.
I mean, I liked it a lot when I was a kid. I just thought it was kind of like
I liked it. Yeah.
I just think it's weird. Like, I did not know there was love for that movie like that.
Apparently there is. Yeah, there's like
that's crazy.
Cult followings of this movie. It's weird. And well, that's a movie I'm sure will be made a sequel at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other movies we're talking about in HBO that are coming out, surprisingly, The Suicide Squad. I guess not surprisingly, it's DC. The Suicide Squad with James Gunn's version. I think I actually am curious about this movie, and
it's very, very Guardians-like.
Well, that's what I think
they hired him.
Well, that's what they're going for. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's weird that it's totally a soft reboot, right? They're basically rebooting it, but they're keeping Harley Quinn and they're rebooting it, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Well,
seems like
and Jai Courtney and a couple others.
Okay.
So there are some that are in there still, but yeah, it's like a soft reboot. I'll give it a chance. I like James Gunn. Taika Waititi's in it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch it.
Idris Elba. It looks funny. So, I think that might be the movie that DC kind of needs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, what else we got? There's well, I'm scrolling through some, but getting down to Dune. I'm obviously very excited for Dune. So I actually started reading the novel. Started reading the book.
Nice. How's that been?
Pretty good so far. I'm very much in the beginning. I just started, but 100 pages in or something. But it a friend of mine convinced me to just read it. And I'm like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I've never read it. It's supposed to be like an amazing science fiction novel. I've been given this time to, this movie's been pushed back. So I should be finished by the time it comes out in October. And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's sort of wrap this up. We got Matrix 4. We've got some other movies which I actually haven't heard of. Reminiscence and Those Who Wish Me Dead. Never heard of those.
Yeah, I don't know about those ones.
And then
who's Taylor Sheridan?
Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar.
One of those kid.
I'm toasty though.
One of those kid actors.
Oh yeah.
Kind of grew up.
No. Taylor, who's the Hell or High Water, Wind River guy.
Oh, I'm thinking of Tyler.
Writer of Sicario.
Tyler Sheridan.
Yeah. He did the Those Who Wish Me Dead movie.
Correct. Oh well, that's interesting. I'll probably check that out then.
Many Saints of Newark.
Yep.
That's later this year. Man, Mortal Kombat. What a bust.
Yeah, so I think we're getting to our end point here for the podcast. Let's sort of wrap it up.
I'm whacked out.
Yeah, we're hecked out.
I just got so fired up.
Got fired up. We definitely ranted on this podcast. We did that.
This is a trail off.
This is a true. But we only had so much to talk about with Mortal Kombat.
It's kind of a snoozer.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's just. Yeah. Anyway, you heard our thoughts. You heard our opinions. We gave you our reviews. 2 stars each. That's gonna wrap it up for this podcast. As always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Follow us on Instagram, and if you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes, because every rating brings us more listeners. You can email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com. Ronnie!
You too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast.
All right. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, buddy.
Zach, it was a pretty good talk. I had fun talking on this one, even though we kind of went all over the place. I'm feeling toasty, but feeling good.
Yeah. Same here.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening to this Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast episode. Goodbye, and I will see you again on the next show.